ça galope, ça s'accorde, ça shot, non-stop, ça galope, ça s'accorde, Eastern, Western, ça galope, ça put it up, East Block, West Block, A Block, non-stop, ça galope, ça s'accorde, ça s'accorde, ça shot, non-stop, ça galope, ça s'accorde, Eastern, Western, ça galope, ça put it up, East Block, West Block, A Block, non-stop, ça galope, ça s'accorde.
Hello, I'm Mathieu from Ludovox.fr, and today we are with Alessandro of Horrible Guild.
Hello, everyone.
So you are a part of an Italian publisher, so you are going to tell us about the games that you release and that you have in store. We are really interested by these games, so we know you by, for example, Dragon Castle, which was released in France.
Yes.
So here on this table we have 4 games. So let's start with Unicorn Fever, the most family game, I guess, of the bunch.
Yes, well, this and this, but yes, this is definitely a family game. This is actually a remake of an old game we did when we were still in Cranio Creations, which is another Italian company founded by the founder of Horrible Games, then now Horrible Guild, and the current CEO of Cranio Creations. This was the first game we ever did, and we still love that game, but we think that with the experience we gathered in the last 10 years we could make it better. So we made an agreement, we acquired the rights to make the new version of the game. We changed the team from horses to unicorns, and we did a Kickstarter campaign recently. It went very well, and it will soon become a reality. This is a game about placing bets on unicorn races, and it has 2 distinct moments each round. A first phase in which you plan and prepare for the race, and when the race starts, there is an artificial mechanism in the game that basically allows it to play by itself. So once the race starts, you just need to reveal movement cards and roll dice that will make the unicorns run, and you just watch the race, and people get really excited and shouting and cheering for their own unicorn, also because they placed bets on them and they want them to win. While in the early phase, the main 2 actions that you do are placing bets and playing magic cards. You can place 2 kinds of bets: win bets that are more risky because the unicorns must win for you to be successful, but you gain more points, and depending on the odds of the unicorns, they have different odds, and the odds determine how fast the unicorns run according to the artificial mechanism. So the worse the odds are, if the unicorn wins, the more money you gain. But it's a risky bet. Then you can also place a show bet, which is less risky, because it's fine for you if the unicorn is first, second, or third, but you only double the money and you gain less points. The other main action you do is placing magic cards. Magic cards allow you to cheat, basically, and fix the race. You can alter the influence of the movement cards and the sprint dice, which are the artificial mechanism that move the unicorns, to turn the odds in your favor. So, for example, you could place a card that tells that at the start, your unicorn will move 1 step more, and you place another card that says that whenever the unicorn of an opponent sprints, it will move less. So there are many ways in which you can alter the results of the automatic movement system. And your goal is to have a successful bet, gain points, gain gold, that you can also invest to buy other cards, and there are a lot of stuff. At the end of the 4th round, the player with the most points wins.
So this is a question I will ask for every one of those games. Is it going to be translated and published in French? Do you know already if you have any localizations for it?
For this game, yes, there will be a French version. We are not ready to announce a publisher, but it was one of the things that we wrote on the Kickstarter campaign. So in the worst case scenario, we will hire professional translators to do the work for us, but we are sure we have many partners in France. We worked with Yellow in the past, then Edge, then Asmodee recently who bought Edge. So we are quite sure we will find a partner and we will release the game in French.
Okay. Let's move on to Similio.
Similo is a cooperative game and a deduction game. You see 3 versions here. These 2 were released here in Essen. This one will only be released next year, early next year. This is a prototype. They are all the same game basically, but just with a different set of characters. So this is the Fables, this is the history version, and this is with Greek myths. You can choose the theme that you like the most. Let's say Fables. The game is cooperative, as I said. So one player will be the clue giver, who will secretly look at one of the cards. Then he will put it down and place 11 more for a total of 12. They shuffle them and they reveal them in a grid. One of them is the secret character that the other players will have to guess. The clue giver has more characters in his hand, and he will play 1 clue each round as a clue. So for example, if you play a card vertically, you mean that the secret character has something in common with this character. So for example, this is the wicked stepmother from Cinderella, and if I play this as a similar clue, maybe I'm saying that this is an evil character, a woman, an adult, a dark hair with fancy dress. I don't know. I may be referring to a lot of things. And it is the other player's task to understand what I am trying to say. After each clue, the other players have to remove cards from the table in increasing numbers. So the first round, 1 card, then 2, then 3, then 4. The goal is to leave only the secret card on the table at the end. At any point, if the secret card is removed, all players lose. If that is the last one remaining at the end, all players win. If you have more than 1 version, you can also mix them together, not by shuffling them, but for example, you place historical figures on the table and you give clues with the fables. It creates an interesting but more difficult challenge.
So let's move on to the 2 biggies here. Heavier games, so Vampire the Masquerade Vendetta, and so it's a game in the Vampire the Masquerade universe with a lot of vampires, of course, but with cityscapes. And what kind of a game is it?
Yes, this is a card game, and it gives you the kind of experience you usually get from card games or living card games that you play 1 versus 1. But this is a game for 3 to 5 players, so it's multiplayer. As you said, it is set in the Vampire the Masquerade universe, so each player will choose one of the clans from the role-playing game. Each clan comes with a deck. You have a starting hand, which is always the same, plus each round you draw some of the cards from your deck. You choose which ones you keep and which ones you discard. Those that you discard will never be available again during this game, so you build your hand trying to create a strategy and maybe also reacting to the strategy of the other players. Because, for example, if I see that you are playing a very aggressive strategy, I may start to keep defensive cards to defend against you. The game is designed by Bruno Faidutti, which I don't think I need to introduce, and Charlie Cleveland, which is not famous in the board gaming world yet, but he is mainly a video game developer, and his most famous game is very famous, and it's called Subnautica. I don't know if you heard of it. Yes, he designed that, and his company is publishing it. So they are 2 very talented designers, and Charlie proposed us this vampire game. He was thinking, and we were thinking about Vampire the Masquerade as soon as we saw it. So we managed to get the license, and now we are working on it. The game works like in the setting. Each clan is competing for the control of the city. The game is set in Chicago, like the latest entry in the rule book. So there will be several locations on the table. Each one of them has one character. They may be humans or vampires. They are influential figures, and the vampires want to take control of them to gain an advantage in their power struggle. So you will play your cards at these locations. Each card has a strength value, a special effect, and they may be applied in different parts of the round. You can play them face up to show that you are serious about that, or you may pay blood to play them face down and hide your intentions. At one point, all the cards will be revealed, the effects will be applied. Some of the players, before the reveal of the cards, may choose to retire from the fight. Maybe that was a bluff all along, because I play a card and I force the other players to invest resources there. Then I retreat, and my real intentions was to invest those resources in another location. Anyhow, the player with the most strength after this phase gets the character, yes, and then you play that for each location, and after several rounds, the game with the most influence wins.
When you mean retire, is it only for the face down characters, or can you retire face up characters?
No, when you retire everything you placed on that location, but you only retire from that location.
And what about King's Dilemma? So this is a heavy box.
This is the biggest and most difficult game we released so far. It is a competitive narrative legacy game. Yes, a lot of words, I know. It's a legacy game, so parts of the game will be permanently altered during the gameplay. That is mainly because this is a narrative game, so it has a story with branching storylines and different possible endings. And many of the choices you will have to make are really difficult and morally challenging. So you can really experience that struggle the first time you play. Let's say that you need to decide if you go to war and exterminate another population, because that's the level of horribleness that can happen in this game, or not. Players may have differing interests in this decision, because on the cards that you have in the game, you can see, for example, if we go to war, our influence will go up, but our money will go down because it has expenses. And maybe you have your own family with your own screen and your own goals. Maybe you don't want money to go down, so you will vote against this war. But maybe I want influence to go up, so I will vote for the war for that reason. But then each one of us also has a secret agenda card that gives us additional interests in the position of the resources. So maybe sometimes you may be interested in both outcomes, and you need to decide which one you want the most. Imagine then having a very heated discussion about a very difficult choice. Then you start the game again, you face the same choice again, and you say, well, let's see what happens on the other side. There's no tension anymore. So this is the main reason why this game is legacy. Then there are also occasions in which you have to attach stickers on the board, sign things, because the game remembers your actions, and if they were good decisions, you will get rewards in the later games. If they were bad decisions, you will get penalties. And you have to maybe sometimes you get influence will go up and you want that, but then also a negative thing will happen, and okay, I take this advantage now at the cost of a disadvantage later or not. So many dilemmas, like the title of the game says. And another big thing about this game is that most of the legacy games that were released so far are cooperative. So all players play together against the game. This is one of the few that is competitive. So you are playing against the other players inside this world that the game creates for you.
Okay, really interesting. When does it come out?
It's already out. It's released here in Essen, and it will be soon out also in Italy and Germany. And we are also already working on a French version that you were going to ask, and Spanish and more languages. I don't have any concrete details about those versions yet, but we are working on it.
You didn't do a Kickstarter for this one, and it seems that it's a good fit for a Kickstarter. Why didn't you use a Kickstarter for this?
Well, I agree that it may have been a good fit for a Kickstarter, but we were a bit worried that since we really think this is a one and done experience, and this is something that not all people are okay with, we thought that on Kickstarter it could be controversial, yes. And we wanted this game to be successful, so we preferred to, okay, we have other Kickstarters, so we believe in this, and we are willing to invest the money up front without a Kickstarter, and we'll take the risk, and that's what we did. And as of now, it seems it's paying off, but we'll see in the future.
We'll see. Well, thank you, Alessandro, for all of those details about Unicorn Fever, Similo, Vampire Vendetta, and King's Dilemma. So thank you very much, and see you on Ludovox Notifier. Bye-bye.
Ça galope, ça s'accorde, ça shot, non-stop, ça galope, ça s'accorde, western, ça galope, ça poulie d'op, east block, west block, a block, non-stop, ça galope, ça s'accorde, ça galope, ça s'accorde, ça shot, non-stop, ça galope, ça s'accorde, western, ça galope.